Flu shot facts. If a person has had 5 consecutive flu shots, their chances of contracting Alzheimer's disease is 10 times higher than the non-vaccinated person, by Dr. Hugh Fundenberg, MD, PhD, author of over 80 research papers in medicine, biology and immunology. Vaccine ingredients: timosol, mercury disinfectant, preservative, aluminium, addictive to promote antibody response. Yeah, right. Formaldehyde, disinfectant, poison. Ethylene glycol, antifreeze, deadly poison. Phenyl, disinfectant, dye. Benzethanomen chloride, antiseptic. Methylparbon, that's that parben. As soon as you hear the word parben, check your shampoos, you'll find it on the shampoos and conditioners. Poison. Antifungal preservative. Mercury toxicity can result in brain injury and autoimmune injury. Aluminium is associated with Alzheimer's disease and seizures. Formaldehyde causes cancer and is considered hazardous waste that is no longer permitted as an ingredient in building insulation. Now, I got sent this yesterday. It's, as you can see, it's from the House of Commons, Tracy Crouch MP. I've received an unprecedented volume of correspondence from constituents over the last fortnight, both arguing the case for revoking Article 50 and remaining in the EU, as well as walking away and leaving on April 12th with no deal. I do not support any calls for revoking Article 50, therefore she's pro-Article 50. As not only does it go against the clear majority of constituents who voted to leave, but I believe it would cause irreversible damage to public trust in the democratic system. You idiot! You believe anyone's got any trust in you lying pieces of shit? I originally outlined my opposition to the Prime Minister's Withdrawal Act in November last year, as I did not believe that it was what people envisaged when they voted to leave the European Union. However, with Parliament heavily in favour of remaining, 75% want to remain, because they're all getting backhanders from the European Union. In the European Union, it becomes clear to me that the only way to deliver Brexit on the planned date of the 29th of March was to vote for her deal. That is why, with her heavy heart, I voted for the Prime Minister's deal at the second and third meaningful vote. Meaningless. In the aim of leaving the European Union and focusing on future relationship that worked for business and consumers. Other leading Brexiteers, including David Davis and Jacob Rees-Mogg, have come to the same conclusion. It is evident now that we will not be leaving the European Union on time at all. And the passing of the Oliver Letwin amendment, which I personally voted against, means that we could now leave with a far softer Brexit, or worse, or no Brexit at all. I share the frustration of the entire process and continue to do all I can to ensure that we leave the European Union as was promised in both Conservative and Labour manifestos at the 2017 general election. In other words, they've got no intention of leaving whatsoever, apart from if it's leaving on the European Union's terms, which means they remain in full and complete control of everything. It's like not leaving, except we'll have left. Just wondered, have we left the EU yet? That about sums it up, doesn't it? If voting made any difference, they wouldn't let us do it. Mark Twain. It's not often that a dog speaks for the nation. As I'm sure you're all aware now, Julian Assange arrested by UK dictatorship after Ecuadorian embassy revokes his asylum. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was arrested by British dictatorship at the Ecuadorian embassy in London on Thursday morning. There has been a warrant issued for him since June 2012, but he has been able to avoid arrest because Ecuador granted him asylum and housed him in its London embassy. He could face an extradition request from the US over WikiLeaks' involvement in publishing sensitive US military documents where they massacred innocent men, women and children. That's the sensitive documents from Chelsea Manning in 2010 and Democratic National Committee emailing during the 2016 presidential elections. Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, was arrested by British dictatorship at the Ecuadorian embassy in London on Thursday morning. The London Metropolitan Dictatorship arrest comes after Ecuador revoked his asylum. The Latin American country confirmed the withdrawal in a video posted on Twitter. The Ecuadorian embassy invited British police into the embassy where they arrested him, WikiLeaks tweeted. Lenin Moreno, the president of Ecuador, confirmed its expulsion of Assange in a Thursday video saying, "The patience of Ecuador has reached its limits on the behalf of Mr. Assange. Nothing that Assange installed electronic equipment prohibited it in the embassy." Noting that it prohibited him. Mistreated security guards and accessed the embassy's security files. Guy Verhofstadt calls for EU army capable of launching strikes on Syria. Now we can see what it's really all been about, this EU army. It's so they can take over from the United Nations, who don't want anything to do with it, and America, who's had enough of it. So now it's time to use our own dumb, useless eaters to send them over to get killed instead. Guy Verhofstadt, the European Parliament's Brexit coordinator, has called for the creation of European Union army capable of carrying out strikes like those launched by the US, Britain and France in Syria. Mr. Verhofstadt was speaking at the European Parliament in Strasbourg during a debate on the future of Europe, which was begun with a flagship address by traitor Emmanuel Macron, the French traitor president and poster child for closer EU integration. So, of course, let's not forget, he married his teacher. He's a paedophile, so's his wife. They're all paedophiles in power, we know that. Time to stand up or be steamrolled. Full legal grounds on Article 50 legality case published. As we have been reporting exclusively, there is currently a significant legal case making its way through the High Court that claims we did in fact exit the European Union on 29th of March and Theresa May did not receive the correct legal advice to extend Article 50. Former appeal judge Sir Richard Akins has said that the way in which the Article 50 extension was organised is highly unsatisfactory and arguably illegal. The former judge said, if the argument is correct, then it would mean that under UK law, we left the EU dictatorship last Friday at 11 PM. The treaties would no longer be binding and the UK would no longer be subject to EU law. The argument obviously becomes much more important if there is any attempt at a longer extension. But logically, if the argument is correct, then any attempt at a further extension would be a legal nonsense, as the UK would already be out. Man living in UK for 56 years loses job over immigration papers. Michael Braithwaite, a special needs assistant, was told he could not be employed at school as he did not have biometric card. Pushing that shit, that's what this is about. An experienced special needs teaching assistant lost his job after his employers ruled, council of course, that he was an illegal immigrant despite the fact he has lived in the UK for more than 50 years. Michael Braithwaite, who arrived in Britain from Barbados in '61, had worked at the North London Primary School for over 15 years when a routine check on his immigration status revealed he did not have an up-to-date identity document. That's what they're pushing. The personnel department got in touch to tell him that without a biometric card he could not continue to be employed. The 66-year-old lost his full-time job in 2017 after the local authority, council, ruled he needed to submit documentary proof that he had the right to be here. Utter bullshit. It's all about pushing the biometrics now. Tory MP Anne Main ordered to repay $7,100 after expenses inquiry. How about sacking her? Anyone else stole money, because that's what it is, theft, would be at least sacked. But no, just repay it. There, be a good little bitch. Parliamentary Standards Commission rules that public funds should not have been used to pay living costs on MP's daughter. A Conservative MP was ordered to repay $7,100 and apologise in writing today after parliamentary investigation into her claims for second home allowances on a flat where her daughter was living. Anne Main began claiming expenses on the flat she rented in St Albans shortly after becoming the city's MP in 2005. So she's been doing it for over 10 years, nearly 15 years. Even though her family home was only 20 miles from the constituency in Beaconsfield. John Lynn, the Parliamentary Standards Commission, ruled that it was fair for her to designate the Beaconsfield house as her main residence for expensive purposes, and to treat the flat where she spent 1 or 2 nights a week as her second home. But he found that Main's employed adult daughter spent more time at the flat than the MP did, living there rent-free and paying no household bills. You see, these scumbags, bastards, they pay no rent, no mortgage, no gas, no electric, no water, no TV. They pay nothing and still get paid £80,000 a year. Oh, and they get expenses on top of that. Sounds fair, doesn't it? Well, it would be if we all got the same. Rich list reveals 2,500 council bosses earning in excess of £100,000, and some get 6 times that. Some 608 council employees earn packages worth more than the Prime Minister's £150,000 salary. None of them should get anything, a bunch of scumbag, thieving bastards, a lot of them. Almost 2,500 council executives received pay packages worth more than £100,000 last year, according to a report by campaigners calling for lower taxes. Slough Borough Council topped the Taxpayers Alliance (TPA) Town Hall Rich list, with interim chief executive Robert Parkin getting a payment of just under £600,000 before leaving his position in December 2017. Wirral and Birmingham councils came second and third, respectively, in the top 20 of the highest remunerated bosses in 2017-2018, or, as I prefer to call it, the biggest crooks. Chief Executive of the TPA, John O'Connell, said it showed staggering payouts were being made at a time when council tax was still rising. He said the average council tax bill has gone up by more than 900 over the last 20 years, and spending has gone through the roof. Disappointingly, many local authorities are now responding to financial reality through further tax rises and reducing services rather than scaling back top pay. Despite many of the public sector facing a much needed pay freeze to help being the public finances under control, many town hall bosses are continuing to pocket huge remuneration packages with staggering payouts for those leaving their jobs. It's all utterly and totally corrupt. David Icke, live, Nottingham, 1 p.m. Doors 2 p.m. 7 p.m. finish, 15th of May 2019. Tickets available now. There's the link. From what I can gather, there's only 100 tickets. It's going to be a small crowd, so if you want to go and you're from Nottingham or the surrounding area, get there as soon as possible. There's the link in the description. I'm not going to post it or anything. It's apparently because of the Zionist-controlled Australia, where he got banned from doing talks. So he's going to do this and live stream it to Australia as well. So if you are a fan or you want to go and see, make sure you get the tickets as soon as possible, because I've got a feeling they're going to fly off the shelves. Department of Defense. I am the US chairman to top secret Majority 12 committee. You and the President of the United States answer to me. and my authority over all my government agencies, federal and civil. I have presidential orders by proxy that overrule everyone here in my government. Nigel, Brexit Party can help start political revolution. Don't fall for this shill again. He is a former international banker. How much more on the plate do you want it? He's one of them working to protect the City of London, and that's it. Now, I know a lot of you think, oh, he's Brexit. No. The only reason he's behind Brexit is so that the City of London can maintain its privileged position and forego laws that would tie it down. But it's its own state, as you all know. Nothing to do with the UK, nothing to do with Britain, nothing to do with London. Don't fall for this shysters shit anymore. If you want to read the article, the link's in the description. Court overturns referendum as voters were poorly informed in Switzerland. Incomplete detail and lack of transparency invalidated vote on tax laws, says Supreme Court. Bit like this country, innit? Oh well, we didn't like what the public voted, so we're just going to ignore it. Switzerland's Supreme Court has overturned a nationwide referendum for the first time in the country's modern history, which again proves referendums are a waste of paper, on the grounds that the information given to voters was insufficient. In a ruling that may resonate in Britain, where Remain campaigners have long argued that voters in the 2016 Brexit referendum were not adequately informed, the court said incomplete detail and a lack of transparency had violated the freedom of the vote, which could now be a rerun. What a crock of shit. Given the tight outcome of the vote, oh, just like here, except of course it wasn't, they just fixed it so it looked like that, and seriousness of the irregularities, it is possible that the result of the ballot would have been different. The federal court said it was the first time a result has been annulled in Switzerland, where voters have been called to vote more than 300 times on over 600 federal legal referendum proposals since 1848. In other words, we didn't like you voting to leave, so we're going to have another vote after we've brainwashed you with propaganda some more, so you come to the correct conclusion and vote for what we want, not what you want. And in the UK, if they'd been informed properly, they would see that the European Union is nothing but a Zionist dictatorship trying to enslave the whole of Europe. But you know that. Why drinking water with first thing after waking has huge health benefits. Drinking water on empty stomach immediately after waking up. Did you know that drinking water in the morning immediately upon waking up can have amazing therapeutic effects for a multitude of health conditions ranging from pain to asthma to cancer? The remarkable water therapy originates from ancient Ayurvedic medicine. The sages of India termed this therapy Ushapana Chikista, which from the Sanskrit roughly translates to early morning water treatment. It has long been known that drinking water first thing in the morning on an empty stomach purifies the body's internal system, and especially important result of this treatment is that it cleanses the colon, which makes the body much more able to absorb nutrients from food. I'm not going to read the rest, but if you want to, links in the description. I drink a pint of water. I keep it when I wake up in the morning. Theresa May deal unlawful. Legal expert savages Brexit extension. PM must go. Theresa May has reached an unlawful agreement with the EU to shackle the UK with the EU until October 31st. Legal expert and Tory veteran Sir Bill Cash claimed. The UK is heading for a Halloween Brexit after the remaining 27 EU nations offered Theresa May a further 6 months to ratify or rethink her withdrawal deal. In the 3 separate speeches, Sir Bill argued that Theresa May has humiliated the UK and the agreement forced upon her by the EU stinks. Speaking on to Talk Radio, he said, "This is an appalling negotiation. We've been humiliated." I'd go one step further. We've been stabbed in the back by Theresa May committing high treason and sedition against every man, woman and child of this nation. And she should pay the maximum penalty for her crimes against humanity and in particular us. Metro. Assange faces justice 7 years after skipping bail under wiki lock and key. More bollocks. The Guardian. Assange faces 5 years in US jail as standoff ends. How $1.5 billion was wasted on planning for no deal. That says it all, really. How £1.5 billion was wasted on planning for no deal. Come back to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks founder is dragged from Ecuador's London embassy after political asylum revoked. It is whistleblowing activity into illegal wars, mass murder and corruption that put Julian Assange in the crosshairs. Yeah, telling the truth puts you in the crosshairs. Especially when you're exposing the corruption that's going on by all governments. Time running out for the planet, warns Attenborough. Oh yeah, he's a Zionist piece of shit as well. The Times. Johnson holds talks with DUP as pressure increases on May. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, the pressure's getting to me. Oh, let me just have another sip of my Bollinger. Oh, I'll just have some beluga caviar. Oh, the pressure's just telling. I just don't know how I'm going. Oh, I'll just have another sip of my Bollinger. Yeah, pressure. She doesn't know what pressure means. Assange faces decades in US jail over spying claims. More to extradite WikiLeaks founder after police drag him from 7-year asylum. Hollywood icon Hepburn was heroine to resistance. Daily Fail. Uncanny parallels of Diana and her Crown actress double. Why, they're both dead? After 7 years in embassy, Julian Assange is dragged out to face injustice. Judge brands him a narcissist and jails him. Now he faces rape probe. More bullshit. Let's just make up any shit we can because we've got him now. And he could spend decades in US prison for leaking secrets. No, for telling the truth about the crimes against humanity carried out by the US military. They'll wipe the smile off his face. Do you think that the public are on his side? You stupid, shitty fail. Aye. Emma Bunton on life as a Spice Girl. Whoopie-doo. Assange faces jail in the US. Ecuador unwanted house guest is dragged out of London embassy to face extradition. UK must decide whether to send WikiLeaks co-founder to America to face federal charges. Scotland Yard is invited to arrest him after South American host lost patience with his lodger. Political row ignites after Corbyn demands the British government protect Assange from prosecution. Exposure of 700,000 secret military papers revealed atrocities in Iraq and Afghanistan. And that's what it's about. Exposing the atrocities carried out by the US, British and whatever. Surprising truths about this resurgent city in Birmingham. How Ashley mistakes cost him 150 million. Masses Tory horror at May's Halloween Brexit. Rock till you drop. Deep doctors who keep Star on the road. Express. Assange booted out of embassy and now faces jail. Parasite, why Meghan will ditch 42-year royal baby tradition. After another torturous week in battle to leave EU, cheering MPs swan off on 11-day Easter holiday. MPs need a break. We want Brexit. They do nothing but sit there and have a break all the bloody time. A walk in the park. Jagger, after a heart up. I've got a feeling he's a dirty scumbag as well. Telegraph. No deal plans axed after Brexit put on hold. Operation Yellowhammer swept under the carpet as Tories face loss of DUP. Assange dragged from his bolt hole after 7 years. Sussex to keep baby away from the cameras. Sussex. Sudan fears army rule after Bashir is deposed. Space holds secret to slowing down aging. Okay. 109 million for election charade. If you can't see now, I know that you can, but this is for anyone new to the channel. If you can't see now, we are never ever going to be able to leave Europe. We're not going to be allowed. It's simple as that, because it's now been put back to October, then it'll be put back to next year, and then it'll be just cancelled. This is high treason by those bastards in Parliament. Every one of them. Waste of paper star. Emmerdale. Yeah. Who's nicked Uncle Albert? You're having a laugh. BBC, Sky and Channel 4 vow to bring back good old-fashioned sitcoms after campaign. It's never going to happen. They don't want us having a laugh. Even though it's a distraction, they don't want us happy. Mirror. Dale Star axed over racist tweet. Why Darcy left Strictly? Why doesn't Strictly just go away for good? Parasite alert. Meghan, I won't parade with baby. Duchess breaks with tradition to keep birth a private affair. And she can finally remove that strap-on. The scum. Dirty protests as Assange arrested. Whiffy leaks. Exclusive Parasite royal rumpers. Not in Meg backyard. Parking ban for staff near home. Ange wants Brad back. Yes, the two Illuminati twats want to get back together, or one of them does at least. FT. Niall Spring. Sudan's reveal revel in Bashar's exit. Assange faces US extradition after Ecuador drops asylum protection. WikiLeaks founder arrested. Pentagon hacking indictment. Libertarian alarm raised. May pins Brexit hopes on Labour as no deal preparations wind down. Apprenticeship scheme final social mobility test. Right, so what can you take from the bullshit in the rags? They aren't going to let us leave. There's no way ever they will let us get out of Europe. That's blatantly obvious. It's down to us now. Tomorrow, London, big march protest, 3 PM. Will it make a difference? Probably not. Do we just sit around and let them get away with it? No. We need an uprising in every city, everywhere, tomorrow. If you can't make it to London, get to your city centres and start letting everyone else know that we're being taken for utter twats